Hello, my name is Victor Ignatov and I'm going to be presenting the design concept for music-related gestures. So, the concept of musical gestures encompasses a large territory stretching from details of sound production to more global motif and aesthetic images of music. In all cases, it is believed that musical gestures manifest the primordial role of human movement in music. A subset of musical gestures is what could be called music-related body movement, which can be seen from either the performer's or the perceiver's point of view. The performer's point of view is when the movements that are part of the music performance or a performance with music, which could be seen in sound producing, where the musician or actor are creating the musical sound, or in sound accompanying, where they dance or other types of movements are linked to the music. On the other side, the perceiver's movements are an integral part of musical listening. They could be seen directly connected while dancing or during an air performance, or loosely connected while running or training, and even grooving when we like a song and we tap our foot with it or nod our head with it. So, the chosen paper to discuss is Niccolo Granieri and James Dooley's 2019 REACH, a keyboard-based gesture recognition system for live piano sound modulation, which is part of the proceedings of the International Conference on New Interfaces for Musical Expression. And here below is provided a link to the paper. Why did I choose it? Because it combines the design concept and some of the principles of my project. But let's talk about the paper of interest. So a short overview of the paper is that it presents a keyboard-based gesture recognition system for live piano sound modulation. It provides control over the sound modulation of an acoustic piano using the performer's ancillary gestures. It showed the potential of recognizing and utilizing the pianist's existing technique when designing keyboard-based DMIs and reduced greatly the need for additional techniques. The communication that is made by the performer through their instrument depends on his fluency with it. In this case, it is seen as the combination of technical proficiency and expressive charisma, which is dependent on the time spent practicing and the ways of incorporating ancillary movements or gestures, known for conveying expression in musical performances. The system recognized 3 gestures, each mapped to a different audio processing parameter. These gestures were the lateral swaying of the hand after a key had been pressed, which was controlling a pitch shifting algorithm with a plus-minus 75% accuracy. The vertical movement of the hand after a key had been pressed, which has been controlling the amplification of the unprocessed piano signal, and finally the distance of the hands from the keyboard surface, which controlled the reverb effect. So several points of interest from the paper and the design were that several interviews were conducted with pianists from jazz to classical music in order to make the optimal performance of the system. They provided much needed feedback, especially for the lateral swaying of the hands, which was noticed by most of the musicians in their own playing or in recordings of their own playing. Second of all, there was an interest from the performers to modulate the intensity of the piano, just like string players. That is how the vertical movement was mapped to the amplification of the sound. And finally, some technical point of interest, that the audio system was entirely written in C++ using Juice framework, and then using Leap Motion's VR-oriented Orion SDK in order to capture the gestures of the palm, the fingers, and the wrists. So what is the connection between the paper and my project? It shares the principles of my second term project, which used the XOSC and barrier sensors, which I applied to manipulate a pre-recorded sound or a loaded one with hand gestures. My project aimed to manipulate or modulate the sound loaded, just like the system, but with slightly different intent and functionality. The paper is based on modulating and manipulating sound for an instrument, an idea which I have the intention of exploring in the summer with the XOSC or Arduino or something like that, and maybe a live instrument. This means elevating and improving the initial concept of the project and making it bigger and more complex. What could have been enhanced and improved? The project could have had an additional sensor or two, which could have added more complexity to it, such as using the joystick to further modulate the sound, or have a mini EQ using the potentiometers. In addition, I could have added something more outside of the kit which was provided to actually record something and play it back to manipulate it. All in all, it could be said that musical gestures could be used for many experimental projects concerning sound manipulation or even sound production, while keeping the expressiveness, and there are countless ways to apply them with the correct resources. Thank you.